So right now you recognize, of course, f of x is the same thing as y. So all of you have that written down over here. Those two things are the same. Okay? Now,
have that top thing, evaluate f.
So we recognize that domain are the x's. So that's all of these guys, right? So I can go ahead if I want to right now. I can put in 2, -3, 0, 1/2, and -3/4. That's my domain. When we talked about our relations the other day, we said that the x's, or the domains, represent the input. So we're going to take all these numbers, plug them in to this machine, and what we get out is going to be our y's. Okay, so we've got a system here where we're creating numbers. And let's go through and do that. Our function rule is actually written down right here. That's our function rule. So we're going to put that inside the machine, that f of x equals 2x plus 7. Okay? Now, the rule itself is f of x equals 2x plus 7. Honestly, the way I do my work, I'm going to treat it like this. F of parentheses bless you, equals 2 parentheses x plus 7. And what I'm doing, of course, is I'm just letting the empty parentheses represent that number x. And I'm letting this empty parenthesis represent the x here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put new x's in every time. The first x I start with is the 2, right? So I'm going to take the 2 and I'm going to plug in a 2. What does it look like? It looks like this.
2.
F of 2 equals 2 times 2 plus 7. So all I have to do is evaluate this. 2 times 2 plus 7. Well, I can do that. What's 2 times 2 plus 7?
11.
It's 11. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 7 is 11. That gives me an 11. So the answer, or the output, if I plug in a 2, I get out an 11. So I can come over here and put 11.
Oh, that's like really easy.
Pretty straightforward, right? All I'm going to do is do it again. But this time, instead of using 2's, I'm going to use -3. So I do it again with a -3. Looks like this. If I plug in a -3, then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say 2 times -3 plus 7. 2 times -3 is -6. -6 plus 7 is 1. So my answer is a 1. My output is a 1. I can come over here and put a 1. So when you put in a -3, you get out a 1. Do it again with a 0 this time. This time I'm going to plug in a 0. So f of 0 is going to be 2 times 0 plus 7. What's 2 times 0 plus 7?
7.
It's a 7. So when I plug in as 0, I get out a 7. All right. So this time I'm going to plug in the 1/2. It still works the same even though it's a fraction. I just need to do 2 times 1/2 plus 7. 2 times 1/2 is 1, and then 1 plus 7 is 8. So my output is an 8. So when I plug in the -3/4, I might need my calculator on this, but I've got 2 times -3/4. That's -6/4, which is 3/2, or 1.5. And then -1.5 plus 7 gives me 5.5. Yeah, that's right. Same thing. 5.5. Okay? What I want to know from you is, what does this right here mean to do? What does that G parentheses 1 mean to do? Okay? Instead of me having the whole list of x's to plug in, this just gives me the x one at a time. So I have to do this one time with a 1, and then again plug it in with the 5, and then again plug it in with the negative 3. So it's the same idea though. Write down your function. All right. I like to use the parentheses because the parentheses just represent that x, but it allows me, I very rarely will make mistakes with integers if I use the parentheses. So I'm going to plug in the 1 to start with. This one was a 1, so I'm going to plug in a 1. And now I just follow directions. It says 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. Plus 4 times 1 is 4. So in my head, remember that all happens in my head. 1 plus 4, of course, is 5, right?
Yep.
So my output was a 5. So my input was a 1, my output was a 5. How do I write the answer? I write it like this. I put g of 1 equals 5. All right? Now what that represents is this. A lot of people do get this confused. Remember, g of 1 is telling me the function g evaluated when x equals 1. When you evaluate at 1, you will get a 5. In other words, you're starting to make a table that looks like this. A 1 gives you a 5. Or of course, if you were going to graph that, the 1 would go with the 5. All of these mean the same thing. Those all mean the same thing. So just kind of know different ways to write that. All right, so we're going to plug in the 5 here and here. Just evaluate. Be careful with the squares. We have 5 squared is 25
Plus 4 times 5 equals 20.
plus 20. So the answer is 45. And again, how do we write that? We say g of 5 equals 45. Okay, we're going to plug in the negative 3. And to say it, you know, it's really easy, but just be careful with your computations. What is negative 3 squared?
9.
Okay, that's positive 9, right? Remember, a negative times a negative is a positive. So that's positive 9 plus,
So how's that 2 negative?
plus 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And 9 plus negative 12 is negative 3.
How's that negative?
So take just a moment on your own. Evaluate h of 1. Show your work, and let's see what we get.
8.
It's a little bit different. The last one was 8. But watch the format. Do the same format. Try to guess what h of a equals. Take a minute to think about that. What I need you to do is you're going to plug in the a just like normal. And now look, now it's just a like terms problem. So my answer is 2a plus 6. Okay? Try this one. Keep the same format in mind and try what you think on this one. All right, I agree. When you plug in the 3a here,
3 with 6. And
Yeah.
carry down your A.
that becomes 6a plus 6. And these are not like terms, so you're done. You see, you're just going to simplify that and then do your like terms. I think you're ready for a challenge now. Let's check out this one.
Oh, shoot.
I changed the format a little bit. I want you to go back. Look, instead of doing a variable, this time you can do a whole number again. This time it's h of 4 plus 1, but notice carefully where the plus 1 is. Remember, what this one's telling me to do is actually 2 different problems. First, I have to do h of 4, and then after I do the h of 4, I'm going to tag on and add 1 to the end of it. So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my h of 4. So that would be h, oh no, not h, excuse me. That'd be 2 times my 4 plus 6, right?
Oh, see, look. You didn't add the
2 times the 4 plus the 6. Isn't that my function? 2 times x plus 6, 2 times x plus 6.
See, you didn't
And-
write the
and-
part right there down, so I thought that was just it. Like the
And
4
then
times-
after you do the 2 times 4 plus 6, you add the 1 on. So that's going to give you, when you put all that together, you do the function first. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. So all of that is 14. Plus the 1 gets a 15. All right.